Since we're doing U.S. Open recap right now, I'm going to ask one. Give me the Rory take. What's the Rory take, dude? Decade plus? You've got all the talent in the world?
Yeah.
Could have won numerous of these things, put it to bed. What is it?
Two things I've settled in on after just sleeping on this for a couple days now. I think we're going to forget about how well he putted. He putted as good as you could possibly putt on a Sunday outside of 2 putts. Made all the important ones he had to make. So that to me is, if Rory can get past those short misses, I think there's a lot to take away positive on a Sunday for putts that he did make, because last year he wasn't making those putts and at any major championship because he was striping it and wasn't doing anything with the putter. So I think we'll forget about that. So, and the other thing with the 2 putts that he did miss on 16 and 18, 16 inexcusable, can't 3-putt from there. It wasn't a hard 2-putt. I thought it was a putt he could make. 18, that putt turns out you can make it left center. You just got to hammer it.
Oh,
and it needs to hit the back of the hole, go up, and then go down.
That's a good save. That's a good save right there. For the record, left center was an accurate read.
It's my new bit. Left center is my new bit.
Maybe straight, guys. Maybe
I
straight.
got behind it, and that's the thing. It was a learning experience for me, because the worst thing that you possibly could do, if he would have made it, it wouldn't have mattered. But since he missed and then it happened to break off a planet and he pushed it, it's like, man, I wish I would have just said, it depends on the speed, you know?
Did social media let you have it at all?
Oh, buddy. Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm not perfect. I did my best to what I thought the read was. I probably would have changed. I wouldn't have ever given anything definite. I would have said there's some right in this, there's some down in this, just to be a little bit more vague. And that's a learning experience. I mean, chalk that up in the category of somebody who's, not really been in that situation on 18. And I just was in a good spot, felt like I had the read.
I mean, listen, we do the same thing out there, and it's just amazing that these people think, like, we stalk it from both sides and, like, spend 2 minutes reading it. It's like, you're literally walking by, and it's just like, hey, a quick peek. You don't have a Greens book or anything. It's like, hey, this is what I got. And sometimes you're wrong, but the amount of people on social media be like, you are the worst. You said that pose was going to break left, it broke right. I'm like,
at least it did go right.
Sorry, bro. Like, I was 30 yards away.
At least it went right.
Yeah.
So it did go right. Just say left to right, downhill. It's just a fast one.
When you said you could hit this straight, it still might go in.
You gotta hammer it. You gotta hammer it.
Smiley's going to get killed for this one.
You gotta hammer it, Rory.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you get it if it's a cup out putt, you might go a little right to left, right edge or something. It breaks a little bit. People are like, dude, it broke at least a cup. Like, yeah, dude. I just walked by. I didn't even really get a look at it. I just knew it was right to left. I think that's the key. Is you just have to be like big. It's left to right. It's just moving, and it's really fast.
Definitely a learning experience. And the second point I was going to get to, besides the 16-18, just wanted to touch on it, was I felt like Harry Diamond really should have stepped in on the 15th hole. He did not have the right club in his hands. And I felt like Rory could have taken control of the championship on 15 if he just hits it in the middle of the green. And he hit a good shot, but it just was the wrong club. It never was a 7-iron for Rory, especially with the right flag. Just if the wind was down off the right, it's not exactly a flag in a wind condition in the heat to be able to land it in a hula hoop where you got to hit this like kind of soft, spinny fade 7-iron. It was an 8-iron all day, hit it in the middle of the green. I would say that was a huge mistake. And then I know the moment was massive on 18, but his chip shot wasn't that hard. I got up there and I was like, I felt like I could chip that underneath the hole inside of 10 feet. So I thought the big mistake there was not prioritizing giving yourself an uphill putt.
Gotcha.
So those are the 2 takeaways of mistakes that I feel like Rory made, and then just the mental lapse at 16.
I'll say the shot on 15. So a lot of people, social media, a lot of the golf podcast media people were saying that he hit, like, one of his advantages is how high he can hit it. And they said that one came in low. And I was like, well, if you watch on TV, the apex at 127 feet. I mean, PGA Tour average is 96 feet with a 7-iron. Like,
I didn't notice it well.
It was not. I mean, if TV was correct, which I'm guessing it was, 127 feet is not low.
It looks like just a normal trajectory 7-iron for him.
He just flew it 6-7 yards too far.
Maybe it came off with a little lower spin than maybe he was expecting, but it was like 90, 95 degrees, right? Mm-hmm. So the ball's going. I think the front was like 189. And we're talking about heat, adrenaline, downwind. 8 iron's getting there. Yeah. And if anything on that hole, short was where you wanted to leave it.
That's the thing. It's like long is the only one. And it rolled into a terrible lie and stuff. But you mentioned like Harry Diamond needs to step in at that point. What do you do? Because we just talked to a couple caddies, asked him kind of a similar question. But if Rory's married to that 7, he's like, I love the 7. He yanks it. It's like, this is the perfect one. This is the right one. How much balls does it take as a caddy to step in and try to talk your guy off a club that he's in love with?
To be fair, and I want to maybe ask Colt about this too. It's not unusual though for Rory to kind of make all the decisions. I don't really ever see Harry stepping in a ton. Rory always, if he has a question, he'll ask. But for the most part, Rory kind of goes and does his thing, and he has got a lot of feel. I don't know if you feel that way too.
Well, in my opinion, and this isn't a knock at a lot of the caddies, but a lot of the caddies nowadays are much more vocal. You know, they're on TV a lot more. And Harry's very soft-spoken. Like, I think he does give his opinion. It's just not out loud for the boom mic to pick up like a lot of the other guys.
Yeah. I didn't pick anything up on 15, but
I think he is very soft-spoken, and he's not out there to be heard or anything like that, but he does give his opinion to Rory. Harry's a great player, by the way, and everybody, you know, there's a lot of criticism. Should he move on? And I was like, dude, Rory feels comfortable with his guy. It's one of his best friends in the world. They've won together. I mean, it's not Harry out there hitting the shots. I mean,
there was no questions at Quail Hollow when he just beat everyone's head into the ground. He was a pretty good caddy that week.
Oh,
you know,
I'm not saying,
I think there's just
I'm not
too
saying
much
fire the
second
guy.
guess.
I just think that there was a wrong decision made, and when it comes down to one shot, which it did, there was one shot that was something that
the miss was in the wrong spot. I think is the bottom line. If you're gonna miss anything, if you're in between, like, we got to be short.
In my head, as a player, when you execute a shot exactly how you're supposed to, and it ends up in a terrible spot, you have to look at, all right, what happened here? Because that's what happened at the 15th hole. I know Pinehurst, there's a lot of luck involved. Maybe that ball doesn't bounce as hard and it stays in that fairway cut and he chips up and makes a bogey anyways. Okay, that's fine. You know, I think I'm talking about it because of where the golf ball ended up, that when a pro hits a good shot, ends up in a bad place, you kind of have to question the club and the decision.
One last thing on the U.S. Open, because, I mean, I know you played in the final pairing at the Masters back in 2016, but now with this gig you got, how much fun was that coming down the stretch at a major championship with one of the guys you're covering has a chance to win?
It was electric, man. I think telling Fran on Sunday night, I was like, this is, you know, there are weeks that are slow in what we do, and there's days that are slow, days you don't get on TV, and which is fine. But days like that make up for the days that aren't quite as fun. And so super fun, great learning experience. Definitely went back and watched, definitely some things I picked up on, can improve on, like maybe not saying left center on 18. But everything else, I really do feel like it was a lot of fun, and being a part of something that was just so fun to watch in person, and I'm sure it was on TV, because both of these guys were waiting for each other to hit on every hole, and Rory's watching where he's hitting everything. So just being a part of that was just so much fun.